This is one of those times where this mixing brief needed a little bit more than just mixing exactly what I was sent. And particularly these drums, the artist had two loops and it switches between loop A and loop B. And I'm just going to give you a quick blast. The loop from the intro, and it changes now. Two super cool loops. But if you listen to the kick drum particularly, the kick sound is quite drastically different between those two loops. Really aggressive, and then this is a more rounded sound. Both punchy, but one has just a more bite to it. So this is where mixing required not just EQ and compression and saturation, because it would have been really difficult for me to turn that second kick drum into a kick that matches this sound. It's a loop. I haven't got the individual sounds, so any changes I made to the kick would have been made to the whole loop. But really, all it needed was for those two loops to have match in intensity in terms of the kick drum, so that, and as the song plays, you're not feeling like, oh, where's that punchy kick gone? So what I did was I found a sample from my OP1 and I made a MIDI pattern here. If you see this track here called Crunchy Boom Bap, I made a MIDI pattern that matched the kick drum pattern of the second loop, and then I just programmed it so it's the same, and then I bounced that down to audio. So actually all I've done really is layer in a kick drum on top of that loop. Here's this delay. I've filtered it quite a lot. This is the EQ curve. So I've taken all the low end off it and I've boosted some of the kind of mid-high mids, and then it originated from this sampler. So I've sampled the sound from the OP1 to Logic Pro and then MIDI sequenced it. But what it does is if you listen, it allows those two drum beats to feel like they've got the same intensity. Play it back with just the drums. Yeah, now as the track's playing, the second loop doesn't have a different level of like punch and intensity in the kick sounds. So I guess like when you're producing, if you're doing sort of chopping around between drum sounds and using different samples, pay attention to how they sound in the track, especially in like beat-based music where the beat's super important. You don't really want the beat to sort of drop off. And if you are kind of flipping between two different loops, it can be a struggle to just completely match them in terms of EQ, especially when you don't have the individual drum sounds to play with. I've just got one stereo file here. I think one lesson to take away from this is always be listening. If you're focused on your vocals, if you're focused on the lyrics and performance, maybe you're not focusing on the drums and your production. Maybe it's just not something that you're madly like obsessed with, and these kind of things can slip through.